I hope everyone can now see the screen. So as Laura already introduced me, I'm Apostolos Paradellis. I'm the Senior Analytical Lead working from the Athens, Greece office of Google, covering clients based in Greece, Bulgaria, Cyprus, and Malta. And as you have understood, I'm part of the sales team. So the idea is that I'm trying to analyze data, aiming to generate industry insights for our clients and help them grow through Google products, their business, and equivalently our business. What we will be talking about today. First of all, we'll see how do search engines work and how can your companies utilize this network, aiming to increase your business. And next to that, we'll be talking about how display network and how you can recognize the capabilities that this network can provide you with. And finally, we will be identifying some available digital tools, aiming for you to achieve the best possible result through deep diving into them. Let's start with the search scenario. First of all, why should you even care about search? What we've seen, especially in the COVID period, is that we have identified a new consumer journey. So let's say we have an ad or a user is getting motivated from interacting with the world overall. Then we have the zero moment of truth. So I'm interested in a bicycle. I either see it on an ad or I'm interested as a person for that. I go into search, look into reviews, blogs, brand websites, social media, etc. The first moment of truth is the moment that I actually finalize my decision and buy the particular product. And then we have a second moment of truth that relates to the experience during this whole purchase funnel. And at the same time, the experience after having bought and used the particular item. How does search contribute to this purchase? So let's say I have a need, I want something. I search for that. I might see an ad. This ad might motivate me to go search again. I ask a friend of mine for his or her advice. I search a look, I go in store and look into the different options that I have for the bikes. Then I look for a promotion. Then I end up buying the actual product. As you have seen, this is an ongoing process. And for sure, it's not a process that it's following a particular path that you could say that each purchase is being following in order to conclude the purchase. So the purchase journey is not linear, and consumers continue in a cycle going from exploration to evaluation of the different options, seeing the different triggers, and ending up purchasing the product or not. 85% of online consumers that they buy a product say that they take action 24 hours after discovering a product that meets their needs. This means that if you have a business, you need to be there when a user is interested for a particular product, and you have a time slot on average, and this is mostly different by retail industry, of 24 hours till you are the one that the particular user chooses to make this purchase. We have, in the theory of marketing, we have two directions on how to create interest for a particular product. So we have the push marketing. If we could say that the Google network that could help towards this direction. One of them is YouTube. So you see a video and you get inspired, you get motivated. And the other idea is behind the pull marketing. So you're interested in something, you search for that, and you end up making the purchase. So you're kind of in market for the particular product. This is where Google Search relates mostly into. Let's get an example. So we are a big audience today. Mostly, some of you already know some stuff. We need to make sure that we all know the basics. If I'm Apostolos and I go into Google Search and search for sunglasses, what's the end result that I experience? There is this blue part here that I experience the search ads. So results that are coming through a bidding strategy that some people have getting into this competition, aiming to show their ads first, second, etc. Then we have the organic results, the results that come automatically, again, from an algorithm, but no one has paid for them. No advertiser has get into a bidding war for them. And we'll see how these results are being defined, their order, why that being the first and the other one being a second. And over the past few years, we've also have the shopping ads. So it's another means, a result of which is being shown into the Google Search platform, where we see directly the product and we can click and continue the purchase funnel through the landing page of the advertiser. So let's have a closer look to this part, the search ads part. Apologies for that. What paid search gives you incrementally? You have more real-time control over your messaging, so you can define exactly what you want to portray in this particular box. And you have precise control over which landing page you would like to direct your potential clients into. So you can have specific landing pages attributed to specific searches, aiming to provide the most relevant content to the potential buyer. The first position, that being this one here, seems to be associated with strong brands. That's what an analysis that we ran in the US a few years ago have shown. Users think that this position is the most well-known brand. That's where it should be positioned. It's the most popular brand, and it's the most relevant brand to what they're searching for. So this is a reason why we see a lot of advertisers choosing to advertise through our platform, to get into bidding wars, aiming to be in first position in some cases that are highly attributed to their business. Let's make sure that we have all have the basics here. This is a terminology that relates to Google platform, and let's see an example aiming to make sure that's more relevant to you. So let's say I'm an airline company, name it Lufthansa, for instance. I want to advertise in the Google Search platform. Again, example. So let's say I want to have an impression. I want to show over here, aiming for when the users of Google Search are searching for Lufthansa to be first. If this is the case, this is an impression that I get. If someone clicks on the particular ad and not the second one to come, then I get a click. Then I pay some money either for the impressions or for the click, or we'll see other payment measures. And if the user ends up buying my product, a flight to a particular destination, then we have one conversion, one transaction, one acquisition. And this usually, let's say, relates to a particular price. This we call conversion value or revenue for us, for the company that's advertising. So we have one impression if we show. If someone clicks on us, that's a click. We'll see how we define how we pay for that. If we end up selling a ticket, we'll have one conversion and a conversion value. Let's see in practice an example. So let's say the airline pays €5, aiming to have 10,000 impressions, ending up having 100 clicks, getting one conversion out of that, and a conversion value could be of 150, let's say, on average. If the particular advertiser chooses to pay on cost per 1,000 impressions, then we would say that you have a cost of €5 for these 10,000 impressions, or 0.50 for these 1,000 impressions. If it pays per click, a 0.05 CPC cost per click, with CPA €5 aiming to make this particular conversion. And it would have a ROAS of 30, aiming that for every euro that they pay for advertising through the Google Search platform, they end up having 30 euros in their pocket as a revenue. Other important metrics that it would be of interest for anyone interested in advertising digitally relate to click-through rate. So how many clicks do I get for the impressions that I end up having? Here we have a click-through rate of 1. And what's the conversion rate? How many conversions did I get for these clicks? Again, 1%. And then we have a competition metric that relates to ad depth. It's called ad depth and relates to how many impressions there are for the searches that we've seen. So in this case here, let's say that that's the average case for mailer brands. So every time that appears, we have plus another competitor appearing. Here we have an ad depth of 2. We'll have 2 ads competing for the particular search term. These are the basics. It's not taking for granted that everyone knows about them, and you cannot really learn them so fast. So please bear with me as we move forward. What is that you have to do in order to proceed with search advertising? You need to understand your customers. You need to identify the proper keywords. You need to create the actual ads, keywords that you would like to appear when someone is searching for the particular search term, create the actual ads, and combine all the above together in the best possible way. Let's start with keywords. So what's a keyword? They are the words or phrases that people type into search engines to find what they're looking for. The truth of the matter is that this is not a keyword. This is a search term, what I'm searching for. If I want to advertise in a particular search term, so I want to have my ads appearing, my website appearing, my result appearing when someone is searching for the particular search term, then I need to log into the Google Ads platform and use this search term as a keyword, as a targeting keyword for my advertising. Let's say we have one Google Ads account. This usually breaks down into particular ad campaigns. We have groups of ads that we want to focus on, and we'll see some examples of indicative structures. What I would like you to keep at this point is regarding best practices. The aim is to mirror your website in the account structure. So let's say I'm a retailer in consumer electronics, selling smartphones, TVs, tablets, whatever you name it. I would have one account. I would have one campaign for TV, one for smartphones, and then I would break them down into ad groups for iPhones or for Samsung mobile phones, and then relate to the particular ads. A well-structured account, as it states here, It helps you identify what's performing better and what's performing worse. So this is the reason why you should have a clear structure in your account. When it comes to keywords, we have different types of targeting. We have exact, broad, phrase, negative. Let's go into one by one in particular. Exact means that if we use this keyword, name it women's conditioner, we might end up advertising when people are searching for women's with an E or women's with an A conditioner. But we will not show if someone searches for by women's conditioner or the other option stated here. So this is highly targeted and highly limited. If we go with phrase, women's conditioner with a quotation, then we can advertise in these particular search terms. So we use this keyword aiming to advertise in these searches, but we will not go broader than women's conditioner or the particular ones shown here, i.e. we will not go into girls conditioner, for example. If we want to go towards this direction, we'll need to use the broad match keyword with nothing, no quotation, no anything, no brackets, and we will end up advertising in all this range. Some advertisers of ours usually neglect, and that's a significant, a wrong choice to make, not to use negative keywords. So for instance, if you want to exclude baseball, you should aiming to target women's hats or sun hats, you will not be advertising into baseball hats or baseball caps. This is something that usual advertisers neglect to begin with, but as their campaign moves forward and their advertising, they identify things to add, search terms that they could add as negative keywords in their campaigns, optimizing for the keywords that they are most performing. So again, what's the importance of negative keywords? It affects your search impression. If you're not related and you appear, you might pay more for something that's not related for you. Using negative keywords helps you decrease the average cost per click that you pay. You display in more relevant queries, more relevant searches, and it helps you improve the conversion rate. A reminder, conversion rate is how many conversions you get for the number of clicks that you've paid for. A lot of you are also interested in the SEO discussion, so the organic results. This part here relates to both SEO and SEM, so both advertising through Google search and the organic results. What's the quality score? It's a measurement of how useful and relevant the ads will be to the user. This is something dynamic. It relates to both search and display. And by dynamic, we mean that this relates to each and every search term that the user is making in the Google search platform. So every time we have an automatic auction running behind, ending up to show one result first or second. What are the attributes of the quality score? Click-through rate, how often do the users click on your impressions? Relevancy, how relevant is the landing page compared to the keyword, the search term that you are advertising into? And the landing page quality, how quickly, for instance, does the landing page load, or how fast does it load? This again relates to both paid advertising and the organic one. So quality score relates to historical click-through rate of the keywords, ad relevance, if it's good or bad, landing page quality, again, good or bad. And when we're talking about keywords per se, it relates to the relevance, the account click-through rate, if you're advertising. We have a weighted volume for the relevancy and the click-through rate compared to the competitors. So every time we say this advertising has a higher click-through rate that defines a better quality score, and we end up showing this advertiser rather than the other one. Let's say that everything else was equal. Why do we have the quality score? The aim is to threefold. So we also want the users to give them what's most relevant for them, the advertisers to drive the traffic that's most relevant for their website, and for the publishers, again, to advertise, to maximize their earnings. So in this case, the Merrell's brand with the glasses, the sunglasses, again, the landing page experience impacts the quality of the quality score, and it might show first rather than the second option here. How do we define a quality score? It's from 1 out of 10 up to 10, and then if someone bids against a particular keyword, I willing to show each ad in a particular search term when the users of Google search platform, the potential buyers, make a search. Multiplying the maximum CPC along with the quality score, we end up having the ad rank. So what we see here, if an advertiser is bidding with $6 and a quality score of 1, i.e. all the above factors are not that good, then he ends up or she ends up having an ad rank of 6. Having a better quality score makes an advertiser get first in position at much cheaper CPCs than what a competitor that's not that relevant, does not have that good a quality of a landing page, and the Google search users do not click on it, would pay. And this also helps both on a SEO level and on a SEM level. How to create engaging search ads. So the keyword is the first thing. What do you target? But this is not what's going to bring the click into your website. This is an indicative example of how would Google Ads look into. And that's the end result. So let's say that's a mobile screenshot. So if I search on my mobile device, I end up having a display URL, the one that the advertiser has chosen for me to be seeing. Headline, we have the advertiser is allowed to, in the regular text ads, expanded text ads, as we call them, he's allowed to provide 3 different headlines for the algorithm to choose and optimize, 2 descriptions, and then he or she can also use the different type of extensions that we have, aiming to get more targeted landing pages and get a higher range of what the screen can cover as well. So headlines, it helps you introduce your value proposition, use the keywords, some best practices, test the different headlines for the ad copies, and include the official site of your brand. When it comes to descriptions, the aim is for you to educate your potential buyer, avoid generic language, so be as spot on as possible. You cannot really take advantage of as many characters as you can, aiming to cover, again, the biggest size possible, and avoid false sense of urgency, aiming to catch the click. And when it comes to the displayed URL, it's a confirmation destination for the user, understanding that he or she is clicking on where he wants to click, in a way. Apart from the regular search ads, we also have the responsive ones, where you're being given the opportunity to put even more headlines for the algorithm to optimize, and even more descriptions. So you're given a greater flexibility, control of what you are showcasing, and we've seen that these ads have improved performance. When it comes to ad extensions, so extensions, just to make sure that we're all on the same page, really quickly, this is the part when they usually show or within the description. And this helps the advertiser gain more space and provide more holistically the input and the end result that they want to showcase to the potential buyer. This is a palette of the different extensions that exist in our platform at this very moment. We'll have a closer look to each and every one of them. So site links, it's the options that you're given here to click, and it helps the advertiser provide more specific options to the user, aiming to redirect he or she to the particular landing page. Call out extension, it helps the description be more full in a way, and we've seen that the users are being convinced more when seeing a greater size of a description here. Structured snippets, it's the idea that you get more qualified lead because you showcase in particular what the user is about to click into. Price extension, if it's related to your business, where you can showcase what the user will pay for the particular service or product. Location extension, this relates mostly to offline shops, for instance, if they want to showcase where they are based exactly. And we've seen increase in performance because the user might search online where the shop is based and then visit. So we've seen in-store increase in performance from including location extensions. Call extensions, here you can provide your phone where the user can call for you. And we also provide a flexible scheduling. So if you want to showcase the phone on your working hours, it could be the case, and the rest of the hours, it can be hidden. And then we have the app extensions, in case you want to promote your app. Are all extensions related to all businesses? The answer is no. So it depends on your marketing objective on which extension would be most related to your business. Here we have one part that a walkthrough on how you build a Google search ad. You click on new campaigns, you choose search in the platform, you choose the different targeting options, for instance, web location, and then we have the keyword. While you put the keyword, it also proposes you with other additional ones, and here the importance of not forget the negative keywords. In the beginning, I told you that we will have a look on an indicative structure for an account. So this could be an indicative one. It's not a recommended one, but rather an indicative. So let's say I have one account. I want to advertise my brand, a shoes brand that I would like to, I'm owning and I would like to advertise into. Then I advertise for shoes, sneakers, this type of keywords in generic campaigns. And then I want to advertise against my competitors. This could be the case. It's not a for sure case, but this could be an indicative example. Text as best practices. When someone is searching for sunglasses, your heading should include sunglasses. That's one of the best practices. So use the keyword within your headline. Add extensions, use them because it's space that you don't pay extra money for, but you rather redirect your user, your potential buyer, in more targeted landing pages in your website. And when it comes to the hierarchy of the structure within the Google Ads, on an account level, we define billing information, preferences, notifications for the advertiser. On a campaign level, we identify the daily budget, bidding strategies. Do we want to pay with cost per click, with cost per acquisition, per conversion, as we've seen before? The targeting, your location, Any type of adjustment you want to make. For instance, I'm more friendly to mobile devices. I'd like to bid higher on these ones. And when it comes to ad group, you define the keywords and the ad creative. And if we talk about display, we'll talk later on about that, your targeting options, and the ad creative again. One last part for Google search. Within the Google search platform, you see the latest update. So I'm working for Google over the past 4 years. This is something that has been growing rapidly. And over the past year, I believe we have optimized the most. And it's still growing and improving. So for every ad that you run, for every campaign, for every account, you have recommendations tab. This is an optimization tab that's being provided to all advertisers, no matter their size, and it helps you optimize towards the best performance of your investment of your account. It's instant, so every time the algorithm sees an issue, it might pop up some additional suggestions for improvements. It's personalized, it's targeted on your particular campaign account, etc. And it's actionable, scalable. It helps you push the buttons within the particular interface, and you end up taking action. These relate to different type of optimization, like bids and budgets. So it might identify an opportunity for you to increase your performance by increasing a particular budget, or even decreasing another one that's not performing, using an investment that's not bringing results in another campaign. It helps you make sure that you have everything at place when it comes to ads and extensions. You get the most of it. Any type of cleanup, policy-related, mobile adjustments, etc. in the repair section. And keywords and targeting, making sure that you have the greatest coverage possible. That was it about search. It's a lot of content. I know that. Let's move on to display. Here we have a smaller section, but hopefully you get a lot of useful information. So let's say I want to advertise through display. One way to do so is by prepaid placement. This could be offline in a banner in a road, or even online. I go directly to publishers, agree on a particular price, on a particular rate, and use their space in order to advertise with my banner, with my display options. Google gives you an alternative way to do that. You are using the Google Ads platform through the different means, through the different directions, uploading your banners, and every time, again, as we saw in the search discussion, you use the algorithm, the auction, you bid against other competitors, and your banners, your ads, show in the different publisher positions online. How do you do that? What's important when building a display campaign, and what you should be thinking of? Targeting, it's the first thing. What's the audience you want to target for? Bidding. How should I bid? Should I bid more heavily in some cases that it's more important for me to show? What's the actual creative that the users are seeing online? And how do I measure my performance? Targeting. Different advertisers have a different targeting. So some want to build awareness around their brand. Others want to influence consideration. They want people to start considering their brand and considering their existence. Others want to drive action, so they want to end up buying the product through their website. And as we go down the funnel, some want to grow loyalty, so they want to see repetitive purchases from their clients online. Here, what does Google do? On every search that's being made, every signal that's being identified through cookies, we gather each and every search, for instance, assess and score these, and group them into different type of segmentations, group them into audiences as we define them. And that's a continuous real-time exercise that's being run every time everyone interacts with our platforms. We end up having different types of targeting. The most basic one being on demographics, male, female, or age groups. Another level could be related to remarketing. So if I'm interested in buying shoes, I Google it, I go into a particular website and see a particular shoe that I like. We have the regular remarketing, where I go into the Financial Times to read the news, and I see a banner of the website that I visited to look into for shoes. A more dynamic remarketing could be related to me seeing a banner with a particular shoes that I was looking into the website. Then we have similar audiences. So we have the idea of similar audiences relate to, hey Google, please bring me audiences that are related to the ones that are looking for my business. We have in-market audience. So bring me customers that are currently interested into buying shoes. We even have customer maps where you can upload your own CRM data and define your own user base. Here is a discussion about GDPR, so it's related to each and every advertiser per se. This is the targeting option that could be shown against non-audiences. So against people that do not belong to any of the above. You have the option to go offline or online, covering the whole globe, or you can target particular audiences. When it comes to bidding, we've seen cost per click in the past. This is something that you could begin with. Bid modifiers, you could say that I want to go a bit higher when people are searching through mobile devices or through desktop, because most of my targeting audience buys through desktop or through mobile. Then, moving forward, you could choose to go with enhanced CPC. The case is that you allow the algorithm to go higher or lower in case that it shows the opportunity to make a particular sale. You could say that I don't care what audience you bring in my website, as long as I pay on a target CPA of 5, as we saw in the case of the airline, or I want you, Google, to bring me the volume on my website that has a ROAS, a return for every euro that I spend of you, of 30. So algorithm of Google, go and figure out how you can bring me this volume in my website. If someone was to start from scratch, we would recommend a recommended path. That's not something everyone should follow, but one way to start is with maximize conversions, aiming to get as much volume on your website as possible. And then you could consider target CPA or target ROAS depending on the specifics of each client. When it comes to the creatives, we have some indicative examples here. So text ads is one option. And you see here, for instance, I log into the men's health website, and I see the different buttons here that I can click on. Display ads, you see the banner here in New York Times, or some indicative examples from Booking.com. When it comes to mobile, this is an alternative visualization of how does the end result of your ad creative would look like in display. And the most important thing is messaging. So it must be easy to read and call to action for a user that's seeing that, aiming to make them click on it and continue with the purchase. When it comes to display ad formats, it can be image on text ads, as we saw 2 slides before. And the creative design, it needs to be easy to view in terms of color and be as relevant as possible to the landing page. Measurement. When it comes to display, we have conversions. So the actual sales that we discussed, for instance, in the case of Lufthansa selling one ticket. But we also are measuring view-through conversion. So if someone sees on our display ad, but does not click on it, and one day later, he or she goes into our website and continues making the particular purchase, then we discuss about the view-through conversion. This is something that our platforms is able to monitor. Over the past 1-2 years, we've launched an additional network in addition to the display one. It's called Discover Campaigns, Discover Network, where the users can go into their newsfeed, if we're talking about an Android phone, or through YouTube, or while reading their emails in Gmail, and see pop-up banners again that they could click, and they could redirect themselves in the landing pages. So that's the latest network that we are growing, and we do see increased potential both in direct targeting and in remarketing through the particular network and through the particular campaigns. The last part of our presentation today relates to free tools that you could use for your knowledge and aiming to identify and build your own strategy online. So think of Google. It's a website that you can see insights, get ideas, and get inspired. It includes consumer insights for the different geos, marketing strategies and innovations that could help you get ideas of what's going on at this very moment on your geos that you are focusing on, in your geos. And then it also includes a number of free tools that you could use aiming to optimize your website, your targeting, and define your audience. If we were to focus on some particular tools, this could be a keyword planner, Google Trends, and Test My Site. Test My Site. Anyone 24/7 could use this tool to identify how quickly their website is loading, get ideas on how to improve their loading time, specific ideas that you could share with whoever built your website and help you improve the page speed, and also compare itself with their competitors. Google Trends, I'm sure some of you have already seen it. So you could focus on a particular geo, define the time slot that you would like to focus on, and use 2 search terms. That's pizza in Latin characters, and that's pizza in Greek. And compare to see from users being based in Greece, how are the searches evolving across time. Last but not least, the keyword planner. As you build your own campaigns, you get ideas. So let's say I put one search term in the platform as a keyword. Then automatically the platform showcases high volume search terms that I could also use, or I could decide to use them as negative keywords, aiming to limit my targeting and do as focused as possible targeting for my ads. As the ads are running, it's not, in a way, you do not create your own ads and push the button and go home and that's it. I see them 2 months later. How did they perform and if they brought any conversions? But rather, it's an ongoing process that you should be reviewing on a regular basis, adding more negative keywords, more positive keywords, either in exact match, in broad match, or in phrase match, as we saw before, and identify highly relevant and high potential search queries, aiming to use them as keywords for your account. Lastly, within the Google search platform, you can identify the competition. So if someone is bidding against, let's say I'm Lufthansa again, and one competitor, that being the Greek airline, Aegean Airlines, is bidding against Lufthansa brand for users in Germany. This is something that could be identified through the platform, and users could, the advertisers, could spot these opportunities and say, no, I'm Lufthansa, I want to be appearing first, and I want to bid aiming to get this position and get higher sales from being first. That was it in terms of content. I will be switching off to have a look at your questions. Laura, I don't know if you would like to make any comment on at this moment.
Well, I think that you did really great. I also saw many people asking questions, so maybe we can start answering them. As we said, if you wanted your question to be answered by Apostolos, you should have leave it on the Ask a Question tab, okay? Also, you can check which one is your favorite one, so you can vote for that, and it will go up in the ranking. So Apostolos will see it first and have better chances to answer it. So I see now there are 17 answers. So let's start with the first ones, and we have like 10 minutes to answer them, okay?
Okay, great. So, starting, first of all, I hope that you found some interesting content for your purposes. So the first question is, how would you get this information? Suitable topics, keywords to channel traffic to your website, demographics, example age, gender, visiting the platform website that you intend to add to your display advert, and their interest and online activity. There's no straight answer on how do you get the suitable topics and keywords. So the idea is that you go into your landing page, into your business, and say, where do I want to advertise at? How do I want to approach? What's my personas that I would like to target for? Is it a younger generation? Is it depending on what I'm selling or what I want to be communicating? So,
Okay, there's another one with 5 votes.
what would, it's changing all the time, sorry. How does Google know the conversion value, or if there was a conversion at all? I don't sell anything online. Our company offers services in person for our clients long term. That's a great point. So what do we define by conversion? In some cases, we define the purchase, a particular sale. In other cases, we might define a form that's being filled within a landing page. In other cases, we might define someone visiting a particular landing page. This could also be defined as a conversion. When it comes to conversion value, this is something that the advertiser provides to Google if she or he wants to. So if the airline wants us to know how much did they gain for a particular sale, it's on their own option to do that.
Okay, the next one has now 7 votes, and it's from Andy Praseteo.
Is there a way to prevent competitors or bots from clicking on my Google ads and wasting my advertising budget? When it comes to bots, there are different platforms and measures in order to prevent people like I'm not a robot, etc. Users from taking this type of actions. I'm not an expert, so I will just comment on that when it comes to bots. When it comes to competitors, you cannot not allow a competitor in order to advertise against a particular keyword. But what you have is that if you're more relevant to a particular keyword than the advertiser, you will appear first. You will pay less money in order to appear first for that. So, for instance, Aegean Airlines would pay much more money on a bidding, let's say we're bidding with CBC, in order to appear higher than what Lufthansa would appear on the Lufthansa keyword. So in a way, the algorithm demotivates this type of wars. What's the case is that some brands could use the trademark in order to avoid their brand to being used in ad copies in the actual ad that, for instance, Aegean Airlines landing page cannot use the ad copy within the headline, the brand name of Lufthansa in order to advertise. So that's how you can protect yourself, by trademarking your brand. Over to the next question. What would be the most important distinction between advertising for a product and advertising for a service? I think it relates to the focus. So what do we want the end result to be for our action? We advertise for a product, we want to make the sale, most probably, that being online or offline, depending on the particular product. We want to advertise for a service, we want people to end up filling a form, going to a particular landing page in our website. This also is defined by what do we want to focus for and what do we want to achieve through online advertising. Is this affordable for a startup freelancer business without a big marketing budget? Yes. So over my years with Google, we've worked with a significant number of startups aiming to help the Greek ecosystem through different accelerator platforms, etc. There's no way to build a significant business from scratch and push a button and the next day to have a big business running with revenue. The idea is that you start small. You try to define your personas. You try to identify what do you want to achieve through advertising online. And then you start nichely. So you start, is it advertising your brand? If your brand has some awareness. Is it advertising your service? What would people be searching for? Would they be searching for your brand? Would they be searching for the generic industry that you want to belong into? You try and easily identify spot opportunities. You could even go targeted when it comes to audiences that we showcase with remarketing. So you might start with the users that have already visited your website. You visit once, come back again. You could use this type of targeting options in order to start and evaluate the structure of your account and your performance. If you have a redirect on .com, do you main domain EU? How does that affect the visibility of your brand on Google? To be honest, I'm not aware of the particulars. It's rather more technical than what I could cover. Which metrics?
I see one with 6 votes. How will I know what my competitors' keywords are for ranking number 1, number 2, number 3 on search site?
How would I know what my competitors' keywords are for ranking? The easy way to do that is to search on your own and see if a competitor is appearing or not. Being in business, in your business, you already know the keywords, to be honest. Mm-hmm. So you already know your landing page. You already know if you search for your competitor, what does it appear? However, this is not something static. So at every moment, a competitor might start advertising against a particular keyword, that being both generic or branded. And it's something that you should be on alert. When you're advertising through Google Ads, you're giving the option through impression share, through the auction sites that we showed, it was the last slide that we saw, to see if an advertiser or if a competitor is bidding against a particular keyword that you're also advertising against. That's another way to do that.
Okay. And I think this will be the last question because we are running out of time. But it's one that is getting many votes, and it asks, how much of an impact will be core vitals have on search results, paid and organic?
Not quite sure by web core vitals what do we mean exactly, but what I would say is mostly related to quality score. So the idea is that if you have the website that has the greatest landing page, it loads quickly. People are clicking through organic in your website, and it's the most relevant. It will be the one that the algorithm will be promoting and putting on higher positions. That's what's being communicated by our technical team, and that's what we've seen from our advertisers as end result.
Okay. Okay, so we have to leave it here. But if you still have some questions for Apostolos, we are going to upload the video on YouTube. So if you want to ask anything, please leave us your questions in the comments section of the YouTube video, and we will try to answer you. Okay. So thank you so much, Apostolos, for your time and for sharing all your awesome knowledge about Google Search and Display Network. It has been a complete honor to have you with us today and to learn from such a knowledgeable expert that indeed is part of Google's team. And well, I am totally sure that your presentation has been really helpful to all our attendees in order to broaden their digital marketing knowledge and know how they can harness the advertising opportunities from Google. So thank you all of you for watching. Just wanted to remind you that this webinar has been recorded, and you will receive a follow-up tomorrow. A follow-up email tomorrow with the link to watch it on our YouTube channel, okay? Also, please don't forget to subscribe to it, as you could also be notified about our upcoming videos that will also help you to get the most of your online projects. So I think that's all. Thanks again, all of you, for coming, and see you in our next webinar.